In this video, we are going to discuss how to create a graphic organizer in order to help students successfully complete the writing prompt. Our objective is to create a student graphic organizer to scaffold student planning for an extended response or essay. Now that we have developed a writing prompt that addresses the first writing anchor standard, we must now create a graphic organizer in order to support the students in completing the task. Being able to create an effective graphic organizer that addresses a task is imperative in order to ensure that all students meet the requirements. It is important to note that not all students may need the graphic organizer. However, sometimes it is beneficial to require that all students complete one the first time in order to assess which students understand the task and which do not. It is also important to understand that while the graphic organizer might be similar to previous ones used, each organizer needs to be tailored specifically to the writing prompt. Say you assign the following prompt to a group of 10th grade students. Should the United States bid to host future Olympic Games? In your essay, you must include a complex claim, 3 pieces of evidence, or direct quotes, to support your claim, analysis of each piece of evidence, acknowledgement of a counterclaim, and a rebuttal explaining why the counterclaim is incorrect. This is a very complex claim and dense prompt that asks the students to complete multiple steps in order to fulfill the entire prompt. Now that we have developed the prompt, we must break it down. Based on this prompt, there are 5 distinct components that the students must complete. Number 1, they need a claim stating if the United States should bid to host the Olympics. Number 2, they need 3 pieces of evidence supporting their claim. Number 3, they need analysis of each piece of evidence. Number 4, they need to acknowledge a counterclaim. And number 5, they need a rebuttal explaining why the counterclaim is incorrect. Therefore, when we go to develop the graphic organizer, we need to ensure that all components are represented. I also feel that it's better to have a very detailed graphic organizer so when the students go to write the essay, everything is already written down for them. This eases some of the anxiety that students may have since they do not feel like they're actually writing the essay when they are completing the graphic organizer, even though they actually are. Presentation and formatting is key when asking students to read or write complex text. Now that we have created a prompt and broken into separate steps, we need to create the graphic organizer. It is always important to have an introduction section in order to help students begin their essay. Depending on the level of your students, your introduction might not need to be as detailed as this one. However, it is important that regardless of whether the students use the graphic organizer, they have all the elements you require. For this essay, I require that the students have the following parts in their introduction: a hook, background information, a claim, acknowledge a counterclaim, and a transition sentence. This is an example of what the graphic organizer for the introduction might look like. Once the introduction has been completed, it is now time to create the graphic organizer for the body of the essay. This is the most important part. In the body of our essay, we are asking the students to do the following. 1. Identify 3 pieces of evidence to support the claim. 2. Analyze each piece of evidence. 3. Acknowledge a counterclaim. And 4. A rebuttal explaining why the counterclaim is incorrect. For this essay, I decided to give each piece of evidence supporting the claim a separate paragraph. Below is the graphic organizer in order to identify and analyze the evidence. Remember, this part will be completed 3 times throughout the essay. There will be 1 paragraph for each evidence. When the students write the essay, they will start with a mini claim and then transition to the quote, a paraphrase of the quote, analysis, and finally a transition sentence to the next paragraph. After the students have thoroughly explained and supported their claim, they must acknowledge a counterclaim and explain why the counterclaim is incorrect. This is an example of a graphic organizer that can be used for the counterclaim. Finally, the students must end their essay with a conclusion. Sometimes it's the most difficult part for the students. However, they need to remember 3 things. They need a broad statement about the topic, restating their claim. They need a sentence summarizing each body paragraph. They need a final sentence leaving a lasting impression. This is an example of a graphic organizer for the conclusion. Note that there will be 1 sentence for each of the paragraphs in the body. Although we as teachers may look at this graphic organizer and think, this is basically the essay already written down, the students will probably not see it that way. When they think essay, they think a blank piece of paper where they have to write continuously, not a structured graphic organizer. Therefore, the graphic organizer will help alleviate any essay anxiety that students might have, since when they actually go to write the essay, all they have to do is copy and maybe finesse a little bit of what they already have written. Remember that while this graphic organizer will work for the prompts, it will not work for all writing prompts. The basic layout might be the same, however you'll have to reword and change parts of the graphic organizer in order to suit the specifications and requirements of each prompt. There are 3 steps you need to take when creating a graphic organizer to suit a specific writing prompt. Number 1, write out the prompt. Number 2, break the prompt into smaller pieces. Number 3, create the graphic organizer. Once you have been successful in creating a graphic organizer and have seen the student's ability to write a well-developed essay or extended response improve, the possibilities of writing are endless.